So suppose f prime of x is equal to square root of 1 plus 4x to the power 4. They want us to find the derivative for f of 5x and then the derivative for f of 7x to the power 7. So let's start off with this one first. In this case, we're going to have to use the chain rule, which is, so we can take this and applicate it to our function that we have going on here. So it will be the derivative of f5 of x will be the f prime of 5x, right, because that's the function we're working with, multiplied by the derivative of 5x again. So here is where we can begin simplifying things, I guess. So let's split this into like different components. We recognize this is one component, this is another component, and we have to solve for both of those, or at least simplify them. So we know the derivative of 5 of x, well, what's that going to be? Well, it's just going to be 5, right? Because, yeah. But anyways, next portion. We'll talk about the f prime of 5 of x. Well, here's the silly thing. We know that, we may not know f prime 5 of x, but we do know f prime of x equals to the square root of 1 plus 4x to the power of 4. So in this case, if x gets replaced by anything in the function, it gets replaced across the entire function. So knowing that, we know that f prime of 5x will actually be the square root of 1 plus 4 times 5x, all to the power of 4. We can simplify this even further, by the way. So with a little bit of arithmetic, we know that you can distribute the 4. Oh, wait. We know we can distribute the power of 4 to 5 into x with, the distribution rule. So it actually becomes 1 plus 4 times 5 to the power of 4 times x to the power of 4. All, underneath that, because none of that goes away yet. Then we can start combining this whole part right here, right? Because we can simplify it even further. Hi, Siko. What you doing? Just sitting. I'm recording a how to solve video. Oh, okay. Yeah, good night to you too. So we're going to do 5 to the power of 4. Oh, my calculator's gonna die. That's cute. 5 to the power of 4, which ends up being 625. And everything else still stays. But the point is that you can combine all of these together now, right? So it actually becomes 1 plus 4 times 625 from the 5 to the power of 4 times x to the power of 4, which ends up being 2,500 x to the power of 4. Great. Now we know what our f prime of 5x is, and we can plug these two back into our equation up here. Isn't that so fun? So we're going to plug in the square root of 1 plus 2,500 x to the power of 4 multiplied by 5. And we can rearrange this.
Because, when you write down the answer, if you write answer on the test, you're probably going to be like, oh, you have to write these in a way. In this case, if it's like a radical form like this, they usually move like this like coefficient over here, I guess that's easier to read for them. I will read the rules here. But anyways, this is, I just want to clarify that this is the same as this, which will actually end up being your answer, because you have this on 530 math. I don't know if you can, you probably can, but I don't know how to do that.
So we know that the derivative of 5x is equal to 5 times the square root of 1 plus 2,500 x to the power 4. That should be the answer to the first part. Yay! And you can use this process to actually do or solve for the derivative of f times f of 7x to the power 7. It's just a little bit wonkier, but it is the same concept. So let's do that.
The derivative of x, just rewriting everything just, to make things easier for both of us in understanding the process.
We know that it's going to be, well, f prime, right, of x, 7, x to the power 7, right? I can speak English, I can do that, times the derivative of, let me check, hold on. The derivative of, the derivative of 7x to the power 7. There's probably going to be so many awkward pauses in this equation. Oh well. So, and then we have to do the same thing, differentiate the independent components of our little equation here. So, the derivative of 7x to the power 7 is going to end up being, well, we multiply these two together, right? So that gets 7 times 7, 49. X remains, it doesn't go anywhere. And then 7 minus 1 is going to be 6. So that is going to be what we plug in for this part right here. But let's solve for f prime of 7, x to the power 7. Well, we know we can just plug in our little function from back above here, because we know f prime of x equals the square root of 1 plus 4x to the power of 4. And if you replace x in here, then you're going to replace x across the whole function that you have. So it'll be square root of 1 plus 4 times 7x to the power of 7 to the power of 4. And using a little bit more arithmetic, we can simplify this down even further. So we know that when you have, I don't remember what the rule was, but I know that when you have an exponents kind of like this, it means they're being multiplied together. So 7 times 4 is 28, and that's going to be your, your little power that you're going to be multiplying by. So it'll be 1 plus I'm not that cool, I can't do that in my head. But remember, the 4 gets distributed to here and to here. So to the to the x to the power 7 and the 7. These are like two different things. 1, 2. So we have to solve for 7 to the power of 4, which is 2,401. So we know it's going to be now 2,401 times x to the power 28. And you have the other stuff there too, because it never left. It doesn't go away. Don't leave anything behind. Things will get messed up. So now we can multiply all these three together to get one big number, a big happy family, whatever. So it's 4 times 2,401, from the 7 to the power 4, times x to the power 28. What does that get us? 9,604 x to the power 28 right there. We can plug this into here now. Yippee! So now we start plugging numbers in. Just like last time, it will be square root of, well, we already determined that the derivative, or sorry, that f prime of 7x to the power 7 is the square root of 1 plus 9,604 x to the power 28 times this little number right here, which is the derivative of 7x to the power 7, which we solved as 49x to the power 6. And remember the whole thing where
you have to move this over here, so it's easier for us to read and grade. Unfortunately, we don't make the rules, but we have to play the game. So, we just move that in front, which is the same thing, but, officially you're supposed to write it like this. But basically, just put top in order. And so now your answer.
the derivative of f of 7x to the power 7 is equal to 49x to the power 6 times the square root of 1 plus 9,604x to the power 28. Those should be your answers.